I felt tiny hands trying to push me down the stairs, but when I turned around, there was nobody there. Welcome back to the haunted mind of Yana. If you like scary, spooky stories, then I suggest you stick around. Maybe give this video a like, subscribe, and turn on my bell notifications for more scary stories just like this one. Let's get into it. Have you ever walked into a place and immediately felt like something wasn't right? Not because it looked scary, not because you heard a strange noise, just because every instinct in your body was telling you that you shouldn't be there. Because that's exactly what happened to me years ago. And to this day, every time I walk past that house, I still might find myself looking up at the windows, expecting to see someone looking back. This happened when I was younger, before I was seriously interested in the paranormal. I'd always been curious about ghosts and spirits, but I wasn't the type of person that would go searching for them. I wasn't investigating haunted locations or anything like that. In fact, on this particular day, the paranormal wasn't even on my mind. My aunt was looking to move into our area, and there was a house around the corner from where I lived that was available. So naturally, a few of us went along to look around and see what it was like. From the outside, it looked completely normal. Nothing stood out. Nothing screamed haunted. Nothing suggested that I was about to have an experience that would stay with me for years. But the moment I stepped inside, something felt off. The first thing I noticed was the house didn't feel empty. It was technically abandoned. There was nobody living there, but it looked like people should still be living there. Clothes scattered around, family photographs were still hanging on the walls. Furniture remained exactly where it had been left. There was even laundry sitting near the washing machine, as if someone had intended to load it and simply never came back. The entire place felt frozen in time, like a family stood up in the middle of an ordinary day and vanished. I remember looking around and thinking how strange it was. Why leave everything behind? Why leave family photos? Why leave children's belongings? It didn't make sense. While the rest of my family explored downstairs, I found myself wandering through the bedrooms. There was one room in particular that caught my attention, the children's bedroom. It looked as if it belonged to two kids. One side belonged to a boy, the other side belonged to a girl. Even now, I can't fully explain why I was so drawn to that room, especially the girl's side. It was almost like something was pulling my attention towards it. I wasn't scared. I was curious. I walked around slowly, taking everything in. Then my eyes landed on the wardrobe. For some reason, I felt compelled to open it. I didn't know what I was expecting to find. Maybe old clothes, maybe toys, maybe nothing at all. But when I opened the wardrobe door, I immediately saw it. A porcelain doll. And it was one of the creepiest dolls I had ever seen. It was staring back at me. Its face was pale. Its eyes looked unnaturally realistic. And no matter where I moved, it felt like the eyes were following me around the room. I know people always say that about dolls, but this felt different. The longer I looked at it, the more uncomfortable I became. I remember getting this overwhelming feeling of negativity, like there was something attached to it, something I wanted absolutely nothing to do with. A chill ran through me. Without even thinking, I put the doll back exactly where I found it. Then I shut the wardrobe door. I wanted to leave that room immediately. At that point, I figured I'd go downstairs and find the rest of my family. So I walked out onto the landing and headed towards the staircase. What happened next is something I've never been able to explain. The moment I stepped onto the top stair, I felt it. Tiny hands. Not one, but multiple. Small hands pushing against me, trying to shove me forward. For a split second, it genuinely felt like somebody was attempting to force me down the stairs. I spun around instantly. Nobody was there. The landing was empty. The bedroom was empty. The entire upstairs was empty. But then, something even stranger happened. In my mind, I suddenly saw a flash, almost like a memory that didn't belong to me. A little girl, falling, tumbling down the stairs. The image appeared and disappeared in seconds, but it felt incredibly vivid. And in that moment, pieces of the puzzle started falling into place. The children's room, the strange feeling, the doll, the hands, the vision. I couldn't shake the feeling that somehow it was all connected. I stood there frozen, trying to process what had just happened. Had I imagined it? Was my imagination running wild? Or had something actually shown me what happened in that house? Even now, years later, I still don't know. Part of me wonders if whatever was there was trying to make me experience the same fate. Another part of me believes that it was trying to show me something, trying to communicate, trying to tell its story. And maybe I'll never know which one is true. After that day, I left the house. I couldn't stop thinking about it, especially about the doll. A few days later, something happened that made the entire experience even stranger. The doll disappeared. At first, nobody knew where it had gone. Then we found out that my younger cousin had taken it home. She was around 7 or 8 years old at the time. To her, it was just a doll, a toy. She had no idea about the feeling I'd gotten from it, no idea what had happened in the house. But after the doll left that property, things started to change. A weird atmosphere seemed to settle over the family. People were arguing. Things kept going wrong. Bad luck seemed to follow us everywhere. Nothing major, just enough for everyone to start noticing. It felt like a dark cloud has attached itself to us. At the time, nobody could explain it. Then, my mum had an experience of her own. My mum isn't a spiritual person. She doesn't go ghost hunting. She doesn't believe in anything paranormal. In fact, she's usually the first person to dismiss that kind of stuff. But one day, she went back to the house by herself. She was there doing some washing, completely alone, or at least, she thought she was. There was something standing there. She suddenly became aware of something behind her. Not a sound, not a shadow, a presence. She later told me that she could feel it standing there. A little girl. The feeling was so strong that even she couldn't ignore it. And hearing that from my mum was what really shook me. Because if anyone was going to dismiss that experience, it would have been her. But she couldn't. The feeling was too real. Eventually, my mum made a decision. The doll had to go back. So it was returned to the exact wardrobe where it was first found, placed back where it belonged. After that, something changed. The negative atmosphere gradually disappeared. The bad luck stopped. Things went back to normal. None of us ever went back to that house again, and honestly, I don't think any of us wanted to. To this day, the house is still there. I pass it every now and then, And every single time I find myself glancing up at the windows, just for a second, half expecting to see the little girl standing there, watching, waiting, looking back. And maybe that's the creepiest part of all, because after all these years, I'm still not entirely sure that she's gone. Let me know what you think of the story. Comment down below if you want more of these stories, and like, comment, subscribe, all of the YouTuber stuff. Thank you. Bye.